I know. I know, right? I got a big. I got a big meeting today.
Oh.
Actually, I got someone buying me lunch. Whenever someone buys me lunch, it's
then
a
you
big
wear
meeting.
matching socks.
Yeah, I hate these pants though because when I'm standing up, they're long enough, and then when I sit up, I got them long ass legs.
No, that's good. That's why you have to have matchy socks.
Yeah, that was just luck. I wore those to church yesterday.
It's supposed to.
If I wear socks for like 2 hours, they're still clean.
Are those turtles on the socks?
No, those are hedgehogs.
Hedgehogs.
So sometimes if I wear socks for like a half a day, I mean they're going on some stinky ass feet, so I just put them back on again. As long as they
right, as long as they have
because people can't smell your feet, they can't smell your socks, right? So I'm not saying. And sometimes I wear socks 2 or 3 days, like the footies. Like if I'm out using the yard, I'm not going to go get a clean pair of socks to go cut the grass. So I'll just put the same ones on.
Okay, so here's my routine.
Yeah.
I start off. I put on a fresh pair of the little footy things.
Yeah.
Although I didn't bring them today.
Yep.
I put on a fresh pair of little footy things. As long as I'm not out doing yard work, just wearing around. Then I wear them the next day to the gym.
Yep.
And then they go from the gym to the wash.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not around anybody, so I'm like, I don't really care what people think I smell like. Now, when I go to church or, I'm going to go out and have lunch, I'll put some new skivs on. But for the most part, and you guys see you guys, so I wear the same sweater, but it's clean. I clean my sweater.
I barely wear socks or underwear.
Huh?
I barely wear socks or underwear.
I'm wearing my son's underwear right now. I have no clean underwear. I have no underwear. Period. I was given some underwear for Christmas, but they're not the right size.
If you commit to Commando, it will change your life.
No.
You got to commit to it.
How old are you?
41.
And I could do that too because I'm a one-wipe guy.
Yeah.
Very rarely do I have one of those situations.
Did you try the rock back and forth when you take a deuce?
Yeah, you find out that if you are willing to take that shot, it better work because when you do, and I read something about this, it actually pushes it back up. So if it doesn't, there's a reason why the toilet is close to the ground. It's set up so you can, and they got these new poop benches where you can put benches in and you put your feet up a little bit.
Yeah, that's the correct way to.
But for the most part, if you rock back and forth, now side to side is better than
that's
forward.
what I did. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I do
but then,
why don't y'all just continue?
Then you could break the seal on your toilet.
Okay, stop.
See, my son did that and messed up my seal. Now I got
This is not perfect.
All right, hope you had a great weekend. Talladega Super Speedway, I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, Joey Logano.
Joey Logano upside down was great. Of course, he pitched the fit like everyone. No, it was fantastic. It was.
You didn't think it was fantastic?
No, it was great, and he knows it was great. And the only way you're going to get any type of coverage, it was on NBC Nightly News last night. It was on Fox. It was on the lead. Whenever you have a massive crash, that's the only time you get covered. If there was no crashes, they mentioned
he said all that just for.
No, they love Talladega when they win. But when they're running first or second or third in the last lap and they end up 37th, they pitch a fit. Well, that's the way Talladega is so lucky and blah, 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 blah. Well, it is what it is. Get over it. People love it. But that's when you win Talladega, it's almost like winning a Daytona 500.
Have you been to Talladega?
A million times.
Really?
And Brad Keselowski, of course, won the race yesterday, led one lap. It was the last one.
Right.
It was great. I
went one time to Talladega, and I was hired. I didn't go to the race. I was hired by Budweiser to teach country line dancing in the VIP.
There's that little place right across the street on Talladega Super Speedway Boulevard, a little country place. Is that where you did it? Yeah.
They had a VIP tent, Budweiser.
You were teaching. Did you have boots?
Boots,
hat.
I rode the bull. They had a bull in there. I rode the bull.
He's an interesting cat.
I'm trying to think what's the best the infield. We actually used to do this when I was on a sports station. The best infield is at Talladega or
Derby.
The Derby. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because the
Derby.
Kentucky Derby now. You think it's laid back.
They're running it.
They get after it.
They're running. They're running it.
First May of.
Yeah, but what are they doing with the crowd?
I have no idea. It looked like there was a lot more than 30% people there at Talladega Super Speedway. And I mean, you look at like the Brickyard 400 the last couple of years, and it's like when it's full capacity, there ain't nobody there. Even at 30% capacity at Talladega, it looks fantastic on television. They do such a great job up there. We have Brian Crichton on, the president. They do. The hospitality is so good, but kudos to them. I'm glad no one got hurt, but it was a fantastic race. The weather was fantastic.
UFC did the same thing.
Yeah.
15,000 people in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. It's gonna be.
And you see the dude get his leg absolutely sawed off.
Are you guys? Are you a mixed martial art fan? No, it was probably the greatest UFC pay-per-view today.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
No,
I didn't. I watched it afterwards.
Yeah, none of the fights went the distance. Everybody.
I saw the
dude had a leg. He just broke his leg off basically.
Yeah,
and he continued to fight. Those guys are badass. It was crazy.
Yeah, they're a different breed.
So we had that going on this weekend. It was a fantastic weekend. Also, I wanted to mention I just posed a video of the International Space Station. I don't know why. I think that stuff, maybe it's because it was Earth Day and I'm trying to get into the whole conservation.
You like space. You like
No, I think it's
science,
amazing.
space
I mean,
stuff.
when the International Space Station flew over a couple of years ago, I think it was amazing. To
Yeah.
see something going 17,000 miles, and I don't know how many miles up in the air it is, but 17,000 miles an hour above our heads was incredible because it's just not something you see very often. But I posted the video. There is now 11 people in the International Space Station. If you're some person from NASA listening right now and I'm wrong, just get over it. It's the latest numbers I could find. There's 6 Americans, there's 2 Russians, 2 Japanese, and 1 French person.
That's nice.
There's 9 men and 2 women. You were asking the question, do you think they get after it up there?
Yeah.
They do.
Is it
Oh.
documented, or you just think?
No, just watch the video I just put out on Facebook and Instagram and
Really?
Twitter. Yeah, I just think, and I said, I didn't want to sound all
Where'd you put it out?
everywhere.
Twitter.
Yeah. I love, dude, and I don't want to go. This is how we should all be treating each other. People from different nations with different ideas, and they're all getting together for one common cause. I don't want to go.
that.
I don't want to go there. But the idea that we could learn something here through the COVID pandemic when we start getting back together again and start rubbing each other and hugging and stuff.
That's not sex. They're just embracing.
No.
each other.
No. But it will be.
It's all men.
It will be. No, it's 2 women in there. It's 2 women. There's a blonde and a black hair girl.
Not having.
I
not
look.
hugging each other.
Yes, there is. On the left-hand side, there sure is. She's getting after it, and she pulls him in. The thing is if we could all get back into post-COVID intimacy, and I don't mean that sexually, but I'm just talking about touching each other, and do it with zero gravity, I think it'd be fantastic. Because you got dudes grabbing. Just see the guy, he grabbed him by the shirt, and he's like, get in here and give me some love. And
Well, they
do
know they're vaccinated.
Well, true, but I mean, he's like, get in and give me some love, and they're hugging. And there's one dude that won't let go. It was like Castaway. It was like the first time he had seen a dude in 25 years,
Well,
and they're all like that. Of every person, and there was different camera angles, by the way. I looked at different ones. That was just the one they posted. Of all 11 people, there wasn't one person that didn't want a long embrace. And I'm thinking to myself, if you went into a room of 11 people and you knew them and you hadn't seen them in a year, there'd be some people giving you the shoulder, giving the one tap, bumping the heads, whatever, tapping. But these people, man, they act like they hadn't seen each other in 100 years and they weren't ever going to see another person. I love that. And they were hugging. They were giving but the women were really open to a lot of touching and stuff. And I'm not saying anything.
It's a celebration. I mean, that's the difference. This isn't.
Well,
just
shouldn't we celebrate like that every day?
No.
Why not?
Because
If I don't see somebody in 6 months, I should be able to hug somebody like that.
well, yeah, you can, but I mean,
No, you can't, because it takes 2. That's my point. My point is everyone's on the same page. You got 11.
Right.
You got 11 people from 4 different nationalities, and they're all like, it's universal.
Well, because
it's not because one guy brought steak and another guy brought potatoes.
No, because they're all. It's a high risk job. They haven't seen them in a long time. They're in space. They're all vaccinated. It's a big that's a celebratory.
What I'm saying is, why should we have to be in space?
No, I agree.
In order to make that happen.
But right now we can't.
That's super cool.
But right now we can't do that.
At any given time, when you have 11, and I'm not going to say they're total strangers because some of them may have been on the space station together because there's been like 1,000 people up there. But for the most part,
I think it's great.
When you have a Japanese guy and a French woman or or someone from America saying, and it wasn't like good to see you. It was like, thank God you're here kind of look. And I'm thinking to myself, why don't we have that more?
Remember the United Colors of Benetton? Remember that ad? Nobody?
No.
Nobody?
No.
Okay, never mind. Okay, I'll go for it.
I think astronauts are a lot like Olympians.
Yeah,
when they get in that arena, they are one nation.
Yes.
They are, you know what I'm saying? Like
that's what I'm saying. This is more than average, hey, it's been a while. I want to see you. Look, it's fine. I think it's great. It's great.
Yeah, that's my point. I mean, I don't want to get psychological here. I just think it's great that we can, because there's a lot of people that aren't touchy-feely. You can't tell me out of all 11 people, they don't go, hey, by the way, are you a touchy-feely kind of person?
Well,
Are you a hugger? Because when you get up there, you're going to be hugging 10 people you don't know, and they're going to hug you like you're the last person they're ever going to see. And I think that's the cool part. Because I can guarantee you there's some people on there probably like, but they were grabbing their shirts and pulling them in for a hug. I was like, that's cool. Maybe we should, if we could get everybody in a room, zero gravity, we just kind of float around each other a little bit.
Oh, I see. It's the zero gravity piece.
The zero gravity piece,
Because
I
actually,
think,
you're
plays
right. When
into
you
it.
do,
I mean, a dude pulled the guy.
Well, yeah, but
he's like, get your ass over here and give me a love. And he did.
unless you're hanging on to something, it wouldn't. Yeah, you can't.
There was one guy that was the lover there. It was a
Yeah, I
shorter
saw that.
guy. I
Yeah,
think he's
yeah,
a
yeah.
Japanese guy, man. He was going person by person, picking them off. And I mean, he was giving them bear. I
That's
thought
great.
it was fantastic.
And absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? So go past this.
More space, yes.
We'll go beyond this. And I'm seeing this now. You're seeing this now. It's so fascinating to me too, the way that we are approaching emerging out of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's for the most part there's caution. There's these kind of weird social vibes, which I think. I mean, I'm a shrink. I think it's fascinating the way people approach each other. I told you I went and saw a friend who I hadn't seen in 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the exchange before I got to his house was because I work with you and I was like, it's all, hey, it was great to see you, blah, 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 coming over. Fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
Fully vaccinated times like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, great, me too. Fully vaccinated times whatever, 1 month. Great. And I hadn't seen him in a while, and we embrace, usually.
Because you're not really a hugger.
I'm not a hugger, but this is a guy.
You would be interesting in the International Space Station. That's my point.
I'm not a.
You would not hug like those people do.
No, I'm not a hugger. I'm not a hugger initiator.
Yeah.
I will reciprocate, but I'm not a hugger initiator.
Not much though.
Yeah, well, you're too big. I feel like I'm being.
You're not.
Like,
no, you're not.
smothered.
No, because I mean, we've known each other for 6-7 years, and you're still not a full hugger.
No,
yet.
I'm not.
Now,
You're not there
since
yet.
you're so big, do you always go arms on top, or do you ever go arms on bottom when you hug?
Dude,
I usually have to go on top because I'm 6'4",
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Because you would
inevitably,
probably
yeah.
lift them up if you.
Well, that's
went
what I'm
under.
saying. He yeah. But what was interesting for me and my friend was there was a moment. So we both knew we were vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Hadn't seen him in a while. It was great to see him. There was sort of a, and this is interesting to me for guys, particularly obviously heterosexual guys. It's how do you do it? Usually it's a hearty handshake, and then you pull him in, you do the bro hug.
Yeah.
He's older, I'm older, and there was this moment of pause. It's great to see you. We're both vaccinated, smiley faces, all that kind of stuff, and I can't even describe it as a moment of hesitation.
Yeah.
Then there was a handshake.
Mm-hmm.
Good handshake. Then there was an embrace.
See, I wonder if there is, and I'm being serious here. I wonder if there is a protocol when you get on the International Space Station, because
yeah,
when
because
you're
right, because
because someone's got to say, listen, when you get on that space station, there's a hugger up there, or because I mean everybody on this thing. I mean it looked really it looked like a family
Yes.
get together where
Yes.
people knew each other really really well and hadn't seen each other in a long time. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, and I start going back through, and I'm like, none of these people even knew each other. And everybody was in. There wasn't anybody sitting back or
But
going
see,
like.
I think some of that has to do with the accomplishment. I mean, again, it's not routine. It's not like walking into the office each morning. Can you imagine if that was at the office? It's not. There's a big accomplishment. They've flown hundreds and hundreds and thousands of miles, and so I mean, context is everything.
And I get you. I get you. But this is second nature now. This has been going on for 30, 40.
I don't think it's second nature. It's too.
A lot of these people have been there already and
No, I
done it
know.
before, and so this is another
Well,
work.
it's
This
like
is
a
another
reunion.
workplace.
It's not their workplace.
For us, it's like wow.
Right.
For them, it's like it's another day at work. They're going to be there for 6-7 months. Yeah,
Right.
it is. I mean, it's just a different way of living. But I'm not saying it's not incredibly special, but at the same time, it's a situation where I thought it was super cool that everyone was so open to, particularly, and let's be honest, the women.
You're right.
You got 2 women and 9 guys.
Yeah,
I think it would be fascinating psychologically to do some type of study of how these 9 guys work with these, because they're not all just doing work. They're living together.
Yeah, but
this is Big Brother.
Yes.
And at
but you don't have to.
17,000
But
miles.
not everybody has to hook up.
I'm not saying they're hooking up. I'm just saying guys are going to have conversations.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! Looks like a penis out there.
Right.
Look-
And women and the girls are going, you all are so focused on your damn penises.
Exactly.
Right.
So whenever you get 9 guys and 2 girls, or 9 girls and 2 guys, and you put them in a space like the size of this room and say live together for a year, there's going to be some interesting studies that come out of that.
There's got to be Again, this is part of what we do. You and I come in here, we talk about stuff we absolutely have no idea about. But there's got to be, I know that they're all psychologically evaluated, profiled, tested, just as astronauts. Just who are they, how are they, etc. But it's interesting. I guess I never thought about, I wonder if there's essentially compatibility testing. You know, because obviously their skills are the most important. Yep. But like, here's the other thing. What if you have a riff up there? What if you like have it like?
It's going to happen. Someone's going to disagree with somebody.
Yeah, someone pours the water.
I mean, you've got things you've got to do. I mean,
right.
There's things you've got to do. So everything's done to the T. Okay, this is how we're going to do this walk, or this is how we're going to do this. I get that. And really, Josh, you look at our reality television, the International Space Station is reality television. Yeah. Big Brother, Big Sister, every show. Love Island, every show, Bachelor, every show is getting 30 people and putting them all in one room and saying, this is your bed, this is your bed, this is your bed. We watched it over here, the Latino thing, where they've just threw like 18 catfight girls together.
This was MTV Real Life. This is why it was so fascinating. You know, now it's kind of, there's two things I don't like about it now. Now it's overly edited to the point where there's great character plots, but you know that it's not exactly what it seems to be.
It's been like that for a while, though.
I know.
I was part of a reality show on Sci-Fi, and it was.
What is he? What is he? Just everything.
It was mostly scripted.
Were you in it?
I was in it. Yes. Yep.
No, I mean a lot of people, even like some of these dance shows. We got a good friend of ours, the magician, who was on our show that said that he was invited to come back. I think it's Everybody's Got Talent. Is that what it is? America's Got Talent. And he went in knowing he was going to lose before he even performed. Yeah. He's like, because they got to make the shows good.
I told you I did that on TLC with My Strange Addiction, and it just
it's because we're boring.
That's I told you there was, and I can't remember what it was, but they tried once a pilot of what would it be like to be in psychotherapy, right? Because people always want to know what happens behind the closed door, because and they did it, and the show never took because it was so boring.
Yeah,
they had to edit out all the pieces of them going, I'm not sure, I don't know. How does that make you feel? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you talk to Jules. The best part of therapy as a psychologist is you go through days and days or hours and hours, and then at one moment, usually 1 minute before the end of the session, unfortunately.
No, and I think what's really interesting about this is what happens when the next crew comes in.
What do you mean?
Well, say 4 go out and then 4 come in, then it's starting all over again. You're like, man, that last crew was great. We had a good time. We all got along the same way. And then you bring a different group in from Italy or France or wherever, and then it changes the dynamics of the entire group.
How long do they get? 6 months?
6 months, I think, something like that.
That's great. That is absolutely a great way to test your ability, A, to tolerate conflict, B, to communicate, and C, to sort of manage when there's a fight and there's no place you can go.
In the name of humanity,
if I had to
go to the International Space Station, obviously I'd do it, and I'd do it as well.
You can't. You're too
Have you
tall.
seen the movie on Netflix, Stowaway?
Yeah.
No.
Great movie, right?
Yeah. That's pretty great. I've seen half of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
You didn't see how
I had to turn it off. No, because I had kids.
So, Josh, it's about this deep space mission to Mars.
Yeah, it's pretty good. 3
people on the ship. Ends up an engineer that was working on the ship before they took off gets knocked out in one of the compartments, and they find him unconscious on the ship after they've taken off, and they only have oxygen enough for 3 people, and so they have to make a decision. It's a really good show.
Do they eat him?
Yeah, they eat him. Yes.
Do they eat him?
They eat him. Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's always like that, and then they eat them.
They were going to call it crock pot, but they called it stove.
What do you think about? Hey, listen. Today, we're coming up. I was thinking about this the other day, just given all the crap that's going on. We're coming up on the anniversary of the April 27th tornadoes, which for us is a major deal. And I was thinking about it. Somebody was asking me the other day, we were talking about this, about this is your whole conspiracy theory about the animals, fighting back.
Theory. It's real.
Well, yeah. So I got asked, I did an interview on NPR about sort of, can you still have trauma as an adult? You never had any fear of weather other than normal fear. Yep. And then you go through something like a major tornado. And let's say you don't have your whole house destroyed, but you're in it. What they were asking is 10 years later, can you still be highly traumatized? Because I think a lot of people, they were asking me a question, they're like, it's not like rape.
Yep.
It's not like, and of course, it's not like rape. But what they were asking was, can your body forever be changed? Physiologically, can it forever be changed? And one of the things that's so hard about this, I was thinking about this, weather, and we love JP Dice, weather is always there. You're always going to have, you may not always have a tornado, but you may have that sort of tornado-like feeling or a thunderstorm, etc. And can you imagine, I was thinking about this, can you imagine if a warm day or wind scared you to the point where you couldn't function? And there are people now following these tornadoes or earthquakes or whatever that absolutely, when there are signs that something's going to happen, adults I've seen huddled in the corner. There was a story about one woman who, when severe weather came through, she would put when she knew it was coming, she'd put earplugs in her ears. Mm. She would sit in the corner. Now, she had children. She'd make sure the kids didn't watch. She would sit in the corner and she would huddle and cry with earplugs in her ears until the whole thing passed. This is even without the tornado.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about something like the space station, something like a trauma as a kid, and you have these anniversary dates. How does it affect even a bad relationship?
Like you said, it's different because in weather, it never ends.
It's exactly.
So when you're talking about like a PTSD situation where every time you hear something, a loud bang, or you hear something, but whenever the sirens go off,
yep,
or whenever it gets cloudy, or you see it's going to be, an alert day or whatever, yeah, I can certainly see that. And I mean, the fact that it's been 10 years, but the thing is, we went through the 74 tri-state tornadoes. I was telling you my story about when I was down in the basement for 24 straight hours. We didn't have sirens or anything else. It doesn't traumatize me, but I think about it. It's April 4th. I could tell you, that it was 1974, April 4th, but I remember it. But I mean, I could certainly see where people are traumatized.
Do you think it's unhealthy to have no trigger points in your life?
You gotta be careful about the word trigger points. You mean something that
well, just like that lady. I mean,
reminds you of it.
Yeah, it's unhealthy to have. So you get, I ask all the time, is it healthy to be scared of? Is it? I'm sorry, not healthy. Is it normal to be frightened of tornadoes? Yes, that's how you live,
sure,
right?
Right.
And some people are definitely more triggered than others. They have stronger responses. Huddling in the corner with earplugs in and crying like a baby doesn't make you weak. What it means is like it is the amount of fear that you have clearly exceeds what you need to have in order to be protective. But to have nothing to trigger you, nothing to sort of set you off, essentially nothing that bothers you, there's something wrong with you. Something definitely wrong with you.
I need to come see you then.
Yeah, well, listen, because I remember this. They asked the Dalai Lama once. They asked him, do you ever get angry? Because, Dalai Lama, he sits there, he's in the robe, and he looks so peaceful, and he's like, he didn't say hell yeah, but he's like, of course I get angry every day. They're like, well, do you ever get frustrated? Of course, I get frustrated every day. So triggering, something that triggers emotions is normal, healthy, and protective. I mean, you either need, maybe you're over medicated.
Yeah.
I need to see you after the show.
Yeah, because I mean, listen, if you have no reaction to something aversive, to something negative, none, something's not right. Like something's not right up here. It's what you do with it. And this is something, you and I talk about this all the time. What you should be able to do as an adult, which I suck at. You know this. I suck at this. You should be able to be frustrated or irritated or angry. I'm not talking about enraged. And you should be able to have that emotion and manage it internally, not stuff it away, but sort of work through it internally without discharging it on anybody else. And again, I'm not talking rage hand through the but and I'm terrible at it. It's the poker face. I have worked my entire life when I have an emotion, it goes from whatever the emotion is in here, it instantly shows on my face.
And I wonder too, because I'm not an anniversary kind of guy, because almost every single day of the year there's an anniversary of something. Certainly from a personal level there is, whether you lost a loved one or whether you lost your dog or whether I remember in this date in 1989 I had that car crash where I banged my leg up. So whenever we have, it depends on first of all whether it directly affected you.
That's right.
The 9/11. anniversary. We go on to Hurricane Katrina. I mean, and every time we have something traumatizing, but we also celebrate good things too.
Yeah.
But we don't remember the good things as much as we remember the bad things.
No, you know why? That's evolutionary.
Yeah.
That's a protective thing.
Yeah.
That's the whole.
I mean, birthdays and anniversaries and all that's fine, but yeah, at the same time, it's. But again, I don't want to be. See, I move on from stuff because I realize stuff's going to happen. I mean, it's life.
I don't think you move on.
Huh?
I think you just think you move on.
No, I think I do. Sometimes I do. I mean, it depends. But when I hear something that's the 15th anniversary of something, I'm like, we just had a tornado 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about that one right now. Mm-hmm. I'm not thinking about the one from 10 years ago.
Well, you can have both.
Yeah.
You can have both. And like you said, if your house got destroyed, if you had a loved one who was lost, the way we look at impact in terms of like trauma or whatever is it's concentric circles. To what degree are you impacted? 9/11 is a great one. We had people who lost loved ones, lost family, or were in the building and made it out, right? So they're at the epicenter of it. Mm-hmm. You could make the argument, and we saw this after 9/11, people all over the nation had significant trauma. I mean, not everybody did, but there were people who absolutely had no direct contact there. And we're talking, I mean, I don't know if you remember. I remember as soon as right after the thing, every time an airplane went over, for the first time in my life, I was like.
Well, I think everybody was like that.
Yeah,
I still am.
That's exactly. And so like that level, but you can live with it. There are people to this day who, when an airplane goes over, they are, it's you call it shell shock, hypervigilant, that kind of stuff. But that's why it's protective. You always talk about like rubbernecking, why we love to look at carnage. Mm-hmm. And we don't like to look at carnage, but we're drawn to carnage. We're drawn to carnage because it is our evolutionary way of learning. So the idea is I'm drawn to look at this so that I will learn to not be in that situation. It's why we look over the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
It happens automatically.
Until we're that dude.
I was just thinking, it happens in relationships.
I'm reading a really good book, 12 Rules of Life, Jordan Peterson. You should read it. He's a clinical psychologist, but he talks about how 2-year-olds are like a blind person looking for a wall. They need to push to the limit. They need to find what's wrong because anger, violence is the easy part.
Yep.
It's the peace and the thoughtfulness that's the mystery. You know what I'm saying? That's not a natural thing for the human being.
That is why 2-year-olds and 14-year-olds, toddlers and adolescents, exactly the same. Yeah. Exactly the same with a little bit more sophistication. They're trying to figure out what is the limit of their world because they don't know. Right. And the only difference is when you got teenagers, they're more mobile, B, their brains are more developed, but it's exactly why, and this is why toddlers and teenagers throw temper tantrums. Yeah. They do exactly the same way because they have a belief that this is my world and I'm going to go do the things that I want to do. And they're learning. Again, a toddler keeps going, and then you take a toy away from them and then they throw it down because they wanted their toy. Teenager does the same thing. They say, screw you. Right. And what they're trying to figure out is, and when I say trying to figure out, it's not conscious, it's down here. They're trying to figure out what works in the world and what doesn't. And if you think about it, toddlers usually make their way through, like they make it through to the other side. Teenagers, it's a lot more dicey. That's the difference between a teenager who can sort of mature into an adult and a teenager who goes down the wrong road is they either can't learn, don't learn, or their family situation is such that the consequences aren't consistent enough, right? This we talk about the mom or the dad that says, one more thing and I'm taking those car keys away. And then they never take the car keys away.
50,000 people showed up for a concert in New Zealand.
You see that? I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
This was great.
And of course, people are like, New Zealand's got it together, man. 5 million people. Now they're on an island. It's a little different. They've had their borders closed for like a year and a half. They went through a 5-week lockdown.
Yep.
They have not had a COVID test positive, I think, in like months.
Yep.
They've had one death over the last 3 years, and of course, or last 3 months. And they had 55,000 people at this concert. I think it was 660. I think it was the name of the band. Never heard of them.
Yep.
But everyone was having a good time. But of course, whenever you see good news, there's going to be an article right next to it. But New Zealand also ranks as one of the lowest countries in the world for vaccinations. Right now, only 3% of their
Because they don't.
They still got to get vaccinated.
If
they haven't had it, then they don't have the antibodies. And if they don't get vaccinated, so I'm like, okay, so you did all these things, so why not get vaccinated? They're saying they didn't make a good deal with Johnson & Johnson or whoever in order to get all the vaccinations they lag behind. The United States and, of course, the UK is in the front of that right now. But that's a very interesting part because eventually you're going to have to open your borders.
Yep.
And what's going to happen after that? So I'm not going to poo-poo on what they're doing. It's great to see 55,000 people at a concert. I thought it was fantastic. They also had a soccer match where there was over 100,000 people there, and for the most part.
Should we have done it?
We can't. I don't think you can compare New Zealand.
Oh, I think you absolutely can. Not 1-to-1. But if you look at the way they manage it and the way we manage it, and I used to take the position, we really botched this thing up. And I still kind of think we did. Actually, that's my position. But we botched this thing up. But you can look at the comparison and you say, and we talked about this throughout this whole thing. What would have happened if we would have just shut it down, right? And to me, that's the interesting thing about our country. This is our country. We believe we get everything. We believe we can have it the way we want it. It's part of the American dream. I mean, I say that in a great way.
I don't think there's a right answer for that question. Because Italy shut it down and it blew up again.
But they shut it down.
They shut it down hard.
Yeah, but not.
They were one of the first ones to shut it down.
But then they opened it up too early.
And they shut it down too early.
They shut it down too because they shut it down too early. Well,
New Zealand was a perfect situation because they are an island. They closed all their borders off. There's only 5 million people, which is not a lot of people, believe it or not. And they were kind of like their own little tribe. They're like, we're going to do this. They're also talking about doing away with smoking by the year 2025. They want no cigarettes in the entire island by 2025.
Cool.
Yeah, there are certain things that work, like for New Zealand on a certain scale.
Yeah.
The United States is just too big, and
I agree.
With the amount of freedom that we have, which we all want, you can't do certain things.
So
I look at that. I look at them and I go, "Good for you."
Yeah,
I don't look at us and go, "We really screwed this up again."
Well,
I'm not going to bang myself up because I think in a country of 400 million people, I totally agree with you. In a country of 400 million people,
we screwed it up. What's your solution? You can't say we screwed it up and then not have a solution.
No, my solution was here's what we did. We were unwilling. Collectively, right? So this is not any one person. Collectively, we were unwilling to shut it down, and structurally, financially, we were not positioned to shut it down and then allow people to still survive, thrive, etc. So things like in the UK, for example, and I'm just using the UK, not that they did the best way, but in the UK, if your business was shut down, you were reimbursed, I think it's somewhere between 60 and 80% of your salary. So we didn't have those things that allowed us to shut you down, keep you solvent, if you were. But the thing I think that frustrates me, and I'm going to go just the moment, it was this whole thing that about let people use their best judgment. Let people use their best judgment. And this is the part where it pissed me off because we were supposed to use our best judgment, and collectively our best judgment sucked.
Yeah.
It just did. Like, and I guess what I hope is that we don't go into denial. That we don't. You see this in relationships. You see this in therapy all the time. It's somebody screwed up, and you go, look. Can you look at that screw up, own up to it, and do better moving forward? And I've yet to see a person who said, I take it back because people who've been really sick have said it. To be able to say, I should have worn the mask. I should have shut it down. I shouldn't have gone out. I should have gotten vaccinated.
And I think a lot of people did that. It just took a lot longer than we wanted it to.
We were also getting a lot of contradicting information. We didn't know we didn't know what it was and what it did and who it affected.
And we still don't to this point.
Well,
I mean, if you told me, hey, listen, we're going to shut it down and we're going to be able to have a concert with 50,000 people on April 25th. But we don't know. We didn't know.
Yeah,
it was unprecedented. There was no way to know. This country is typical. We want to do the least amount of work to get the maximum.
Yes.
And we're like, okay, well, I won't get a shot. And then we're doing it right now with the vaccination. Well, as long as other people are getting vaccinated, why should I have to get vaccinated?
I think that's what was frustrating to me. As a guy who comes out of public health, there was no abundance of caution. That's what it was. It was halfway cautious, right? Okay, I'll back off a little bit. I'll keep my distance. But I need to go out in a restaurant. I need to go out. I need to.
And there's still 9 out of 10 people in this country who have never gotten COVID. And so if you've never gotten it and you've made it through the year and a half, you're feeling like every day you're feeling a little better about your chance of not getting it.
Right. Yeah, except unless you're infecting other people.
I haven't, and I'm just talking as every man. Well, I haven't had the vaccine. I have, but I haven't had the vaccine. I've never gotten COVID. I'm living my life right. And I'm working pretty well. So why should I get it now?
I mean, look, what is the whole thing about carrying?
But I'm just telling you with his perspective.
I can argue with your perspective. Number one, we know that you could be carrying it and infecting other people who are much more vulnerable than you are. You're a healthy guy.
Yeah.
This is the whole Judeo-Christian.
I don't have any grandparents. I don't have any old people.
This is the whole do it. Don't do it for you.
No, I don't. But I don't think people are doing it selfishly. I just think
it's 100% selfish.
Well, it is according to you. But what I'm saying is, I think most people are thinking, "Hey, I got a military right next door." You're thinking, "Well, golly, military." She's like, "I'm going to wait a little bit. I want to see what happens first. I'm going to let it test out a little bit." And
that's selfish. Well, no.
And she had a daughter that had it. She's like she was in my house and I didn't get it. And so I'm kind of like, and she's not afraid of shots. She's in the military, for God's sake. She takes bullets. But I'm kind of like, and so I don't agree
to be cautious on a first round of a vaccine and not getting it.
No, but but
I like when Justin.
No, I'm saying that. No. But don't do the whole "I don't believe in science" crap.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm not saying you're saying it, but there is even the Johnson & Johnson. I mean, the Johnson & Johnson thing is the classic. And I'm going to sound like an elitist here, but this is the classic. See, they're trying to screw. See, they don't know what they're doing. 6 blood clots. Okay, they paused the distribution out of an abundance of caution, not out of, oh my God, everybody's getting clots.
Are you saying they shouldn't have stopped it?
Well, if you go on,
I'm asking you.
I'm saying what I'm saying is, if I compare that to the side effects, the serious side effects of other medications, in terms of just the rates of something really bad happening, no, they shouldn't have paused it.
And would you believe that Johnson & Johnson is actually stepping on some toes and they wanted to pause it on purpose?
Say, who wanted to pause it? Johnson?
The FDA.
Yeah, out of 2 things. Abundance of caution, and if we're going to get real public health, perception.
Yeah.
Absolutely perception. So that's what I'm saying. Is like, to me, and it's not even the vaccination. I think to me, the biggest thing that made me more frustrated than anything else, to be honest with you, was the whole mask thing. The mask is, wearing a mask is violating my rights, violating my liberties, violating everything. To me, that's the biggest bunch of crap I've ever heard. It'd be one thing if you had to put on, we talked about, if you had to wear a hazmat suit every day, I'm with you. Because I get claustrophobic, I wouldn't want to have. The whole thing about masks made us look, I think, A, selfish, B, not compassionate about other people, and C, to be honest with you, like snowflakes. We did. Like, I can't wear a mask. But I saw more people saying, I can't wear. Why not? Why can't you wear a mask?
And we saw people come a long way in the mask wearing.
I agree with you.
It just took a long time.
You know what's interesting?
And that that goes for a lot of things in life, right? I mean, there's a lot of things in life I'm not going to do, and then eventually you find I do it, and it's not the
That's crazy to me because we can all agree the U.S. is probably one of the most compassionate countries in the world, right? As far as our international,
but that's what I'm saying. It didn't show well. That's kind of what
We're not perfect, Josh.
No, but it didn't show. I expected maybe my expectation of what would happen was nowhere near what I actually saw. I think that's the thing that was frustrating. And to your point, I'm not going to do it. That's a stupid idea. That's dumb. And then after a while, you're like, well, maybe that's. I told you this is. My wife gets on me about this all the time. First thing, she's like, why don't we do this? Nah, that's dumb.
But I've always. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I've always, from day one, always seen more people with mask than without mask.
I do too.
Well, you see, but if that was the case,
even today, even right now, I see more people still.
Now I would expect it. Now we're. I expect it. Now I'm seeing it tail off.
Sure.
Well, it's only because they're not being mandated everywhere. But I mean,
and that's what's interesting. I saw this the other day. So, and different states are different.
Fauci got called out again yesterday.
Why?
Because he said we need to wear a mask outside. Now he's like, it's minuscule that so you don't need to wear a mask outside.
He said you did or you don't.
You do not.
Fauci said
he's like, if you've been, you've been vaccinated or if you had one vaccination, you don't need to wear a mask.
Outside,
last week he said you should probably wear a mask
in crowds.
Just anywhere, outside, anywhere.
Yeah, it'd still be in crowds. You still.
And I'm not faulting him because I think I think it changes.
Still
I think as we get a little further in, but I also don't think now's the time to rest our laurels because we're not even near where we need to be for herd immunity.
I saw this yesterday. I went, and this is a great example to me of what makes me frustrated about this. I know every state's different, but we don't have a state mandate anymore. The state doesn't mandate. But then we have all the cities that are having different ordinances. And I get the confusion. I totally get it. The stores are confused. The cities are confused. But you walk around, and if you're in a particular city, there are ordinances. Let's just call them mandates. You're supposed to wear masks. So I went into a store to drop off a package. They were in a city that had an ordinance where you're supposed to wear a mask. There were signs everywhere. Like before, look, 10 feet before you ever got in the store, there was like, and I love this. They said, due to a city ordinance, so you could understand, you need to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And so I put a mask on, and I was just going to go in. This was a store where you ship off packages.
You could say UPS.
It wasn't.
Yeah, okay. FedEx.
Right. I watched her get out of her car. She had a mask in her car. She didn't have it on, but she had a mask in her car. I watched her get out of the car with her package, go up to the sign. I mean, the sign was huge. Go up to the sign. She walked about a foot into the store, and they said, "Ma'am, we just need you to put a mask on city ordinance." Oh, you're violating my liberties. And
I don't see that.
Well, I see.
I don't know where the hell you shop or where you go. I don't see that. I don't see that.
Okay, well, I'm telling you.
And it's one person out of a million people that are doing that. You don't even see stories about people. No, it is. You don't see it.
It's not one out of a million. I'm not saying everybody's doing it. My point is nobody should be doing it.
Okay, well, that's one person.
No, but stop. It's not one person.
It is one person. In this particular case, you're talking about one person doing it.
But it's one person times 1,000 people.
I don't see it.
Oh, my God. If everybody didn't do this, we wouldn't have been in the position we were in.
I think it's an issue, but I don't think it's a problem.
It's just an anecdotal.
So why did we have the numbers that we had?
I mean,
why do we have the numbers we had?
It's not because someone's walking in FedEx without a mask on.
It's because people are walking around not wearing masks when they were supposed to wear a mask. I go back all the way to New Zealand. If we would have done, listen, in this state and even in other states, when they put in mandates, before they ever put in mandates, every damn governor said the same thing. We're asking people, they all said it, we're asking people to look out for one another, to do the best that you can, to be protective of yourself and others. And it's just like, I go back to the same thing, it's your Mountain Dew thing. We said, okay. And then we said, but I don't really feel like doing it. Yeah. So I'm not going to really do it. So then they said, well, we're going to do a mandate. No, I don't have to pay attention to the mandate. Now, again, tons of people did. Yeah. Tons of people did. Look, this is my frustration. I see this in relationships all the time. I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that because we did. This is who I am. You knew what you were getting into.
And there's Josh's rant on the mask for the day.
Dude, it's not just the mask.
Yes.
I wonder how many people are like that. I wonder what their kind of marriages are. I wonder what their relationships are.
They probably are married to someone that feels the same way.
Okay, and if not?
So I don't have to worry about it.
That's the key word there. You wonder. We wonder if the numbers would have been down if we all would have wear masks. We don't know. We can't deny or confirm.
And the thing is if we're not
That's rationalization. Well, we would have never known.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, if we're not all doing it, it doesn't. Right. And I think that plays into it.
It's the social
I'm
experiment.
looking at India right now. They had 330,000 infections yesterday. I'm like, okay, well, if they're not doing it, then it's going to come back at us one way or another. So I'm going to live my life and do my thing. That's why we have to reopen. And so,
what do you think about if in the beginning we should have quarantined the people that were most susceptible, older, overweight, pre-existing?
Well, we tried,
conditions.
didn't we?
We tried.
We tried, but we can't.
We tried, but the problem we had was
they quarantined everybody.
Well, because the problem is if you live with an old fat person, then and you're not, and you're out.
Are you saying what if we had Ellis Island it?
Yes.
Leprosy, like leprosy?
There's a whole island that's an entire hospital. When all the immigrants were coming into Ellis Island, you had to go through that place in order to come in.
Every other
thousands and thousands
foreign country. I mean, every foreign country was like, except us. Except us. I had a friend who traveled to the UK. This was a while ago. Or he was going to. And then he's like, I ain't going to be 2 weeks quarantine. US? Come on. Mm-hmm. Come on.
Yeah.
People love this country.
And now we have people at the border trying to get in. We don't know where they've been.
Mm-hmm. Those Canadians.
I'm talking about the southern one, but the northern one. Canadians don't want to come here. They're good. They're like they're holding out.
Toronto's still on complete lockdown, which is ridiculous.
That's
a lot of people are moving out of Toronto.
Just because that was all the Americans. Don't you remember?
Toronto's got the money to get
this is all. No. You know what that is? This is all the celebrities who, when Trump won and they said, I'm going to Canada, they went to Canada and they brought it all over there, and that's what it is.
Did you watch the Oscars last night?
Hell no.
I mean, no.
Nobody did. It was 3 hours of pure hell. I'm a big show guy.
I like the video. I got to tell you, for as we've had this whole thing about reconfiguring the way events look, and they've all looked clunky.
No, the spontaneity of these nights is what makes it great. Even the Glenn Close doing the butt thing last night, we found out that was all canned. It wasn't something that she did it on a whim, and it would have been great. I don't really care to see Glenn Close doing the butt. And by the way, she was nominated for her 8th Oscar, and she lost again, so she tied Peter O'Toole for the most without one win. Did you see who won an Oscar last night, though? You should know this. You should know this. Oh, no, it's somebody you'd never think in a million years would have won an Oscar. Because Kobe Bryant won an Oscar.
Another one.
Macaulay Culkin.
Kevin Durant won an Oscar last night. And Mike Conley, NBA players, won. They actually had a small film that made it into the Oscars, and they were executive producers. They won an Oscar last night. Kevin Durant is an Oscar winner. He got the trophy. Posted stuff.
What did he make? What was it?
Something called Little Strangers or something.
Producer just means he put money in the movie. That's all.
Yeah, but he was actually hands-on this particular thing, him and Mike Conley, and they both won an Oscar last night. So that's good. Yeah, I just don't think, and I'm not saying we do away with these shows because you have to have shows, and the fact that no one saw the movies that were actually in the Oscars because no one was in movie theaters, which was really kind of bizarre. I'm not saying they should put it off a year, but
I like the setting.
Anthony Hopkins actually won for Best Actor in the movie role that Glenn Close was nominated for, and he's a no-show.
I like the setting.
In the Union Station?
Yeah, I thought it was intimate. I liked
Elton John said it looked like a giant Starbucks.
Yes, that's exactly. It did.
He said, "What the hell?"
It just did. It had I don't know, man. It had a good feel.
Part of me, as a layman, as a little peasant, likes the fact that these rich people are a little uncomfortable, and that
everybody
that they can't have their big parties.
The whole clunkiness. As a psychologist, I love this. There's this hesitation and semi-fake smiles, or not fake, like fake in terms of.
And it's always like that a little bit too. But they didn't have a host last night, right? They didn't have a host.
No host.
And Ricky Gervais came out and said, was it something I said?
Yep.
Because he obviously, and I mean, the host, even the Billy Crystal days, the host kind of brings it all together. And if you don't have a crowd to play to and it's uncomfortable and everyone's separated,
he's like the attire?
Yeah.
Did you see Brad Pitt?
I did
He's
see
got a
Brad
ponytail.
Pitt. Yeah. Well,
he's looking old.
Brad Pitt can pull off the bun.
Yeah,
because it's Brad Pitt, but no one else can pull the bun off. Brandon can't pull the bun off.
Well, he's not Brad Pitt.
Jamie can't.
He's not Brad Pitt.
Yeah, it looks
Brad
close,
Pitt's a good-looking guy.
You got to be totally secure and be like
he's freaking Brad Pitt.
Powerful. Exactly. You can pull off whatever you want. Laura Dern in the dress with the feathers.
Did you see though? I thought this was interesting. I'm not going on a COVID rant, but I thought this was interesting.
They wearing masks.
And I'm blanking on the woman's name. She was from Korea. She was adorable. Yep. She beat Glenn Close and others for the best supporting actress. She spoke English, but she had very thick accent. I was having a hard time. And when she went up to stage, there was a ramp that she didn't go up, and she just kind of took a big hike up on the thing. So coming down, the camera angle's behind Brad Pitt's shoulder, looking out at her, and she starts walking, and you can see she's not sure where to go, and she's headed for the edge of the cliff. This is what's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're all vaccinated. I don't know what is, but I saw Brad sort of like he's pointing. Mm-hmm. She's still walking over to the cliff, and I couldn't tell if he didn't want to be in the picture, which maybe, but he reached out as far as his fingers would go to just yank her over just enough. Mm-hmm. And maybe this is music. It had that sort of social distancing COVID. I don't really want to touch you because I don't know you. Maybe because you're from Korea. I don't know. It's terrible. But he just, and by that much, she would have gone right off the stage, which actually would have made the Oscars more interesting.
Probably better. And I'm assuming that everyone had to test negative and be vaccinated in order to be there, correct? So it wouldn't matter.
I don't know. The stars, they get access. Well, first of all, everybody can now.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I would assume that you'd have to have that protocol in order to even get into the Union Station.
I think so. I think so.
So he shouldn't have to worry about that.
By the way, now I'm pivoting because that's boring to me. Did you see the thing about the...
This is the Josh Klapow show.
By the way, I'm sorry. By the way, only 9 million people watch the Oscars.
Yeah.
What's typical?
Lowest.
It's boring.
It's a 51% drop from 2020.
Did you see the girl in the red dress? Woman in the red dress?
I did not.
There's a lot of women in the red dress, but I can't... This was this thing. I want... Oh! It was Best Supporting Actress, and she didn't win. Yeah. And I told Jules, I was like, I want her to win just because I want to see her physically stand up.
Yeah.
It was cut down to here, which is fine, but the top part of the dress was like up to her chin, and it was extended out. It was like almost like they had extensions. Yeah. And then there was enough frilly things that it almost covered her waist. Yeah. It looked like there was no physical way she would be able to get up without falling over. Then she didn't win. So, neither there nor there.
Go ahead. It's your show. Go ahead.
Going.
Did you see the Ohio bar owner who refused to play NBA games until? Yes. What did you think about that?
You got all the 1-star Yelps. Yeah.
What did you think?
That's fine.
Good for business?
No, obviously not good for business. But I mean, he's got his cronies. He's got his P1s that are loving it.
I think Yelp.
He's making money.
I think Yelp reviews are dangerous for businesses. I think that if one person has a bad experience and puts a Yelp review, it could ruin.
Well, we know you can buy Yelp reviews. Hell, we've done it with this radio station. You can get 5,000 or 6,000 people to sit there and say, "Tell me what." Well, sure.
I thought people love us.
Well, they do love us. Okay. I mean, but you could do it for any business you want. Write a great review for me, please.
Yes.
And they write a great review, and we look at the reviews. So I don't even look at reviews. I want to experience it myself.
Now I'm going to go on another rant. Okay. Can I go about this one? Because I've seen this everywhere. Everyone's being evaluated, which is fine. But the whole evaluation, hey, someone comes and fixes your stove. They talk to you on the phone, and at the end of everything, please give me a 5-star review. Please give me a 5-star review because I'm going to be valued. Which I understand from their point of view because of their job. But we've got like 5-star reviews on everything. Mm-hmm. And the thing with Yelp or Travel Advisor or anything, you don't look at the horrible one, the 3 horrible ones.
No, because I always figure that person's having a bad day.
I always look at the 3-star ones. The 3-star ones are the ones I feel like are the most accurate.
Yeah.
Well, or they're non-committal.
Because they're good and bad.
Or they're non-committal.
If someone's over the top, talks about what a wonderful experience it was, I figure it's the guy's brother.
No, see,
and if it's really, really bad, I figure they got a beef with that company and they're just writing something because you can write a Yelp review without even using their service.
That's right.
So I can hammer you, and that's what's happening to this bar. He's gotten like 100,000 1-star reviews, which is the worst review.
They're the LeBron James fans.
Yeah,
Lakers are tanking
because they're hammering them. Yeah,
Lakers are tanking.
Yeah, well,
I'm really upset about that.
LeBron's not playing right now.
Well, Anthony Davis.
But the Knicks are looking pretty good, and Kevin Durant's got an Oscar.
This whole world's all messed up.
Are you done today?
Yeah.
This has been the Josh Klapow show today. I think
I haven't watched the NBA in probably a year.
What's wrong with you?
I'm just not into it anymore.
Hell, every big star is out this year. It seems like everyone's getting banged
up. You think they're injured on purpose?
Well,
Did
sure.
you see
You would think after they were in the bubble, they'd figure it out.
Are y'all going to go to a Barons game when they open back up?
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, me too.
When are we going to get a pro team here?
We got a pro team, the Birmingham Barons. We also have the Bulls.
Mm-hmm. The Barons are semi-pro.
It's pro.
Okay. When are we going to get
Birmingham's, I don't think will ever support a pro team.
I
College
think
is just too
I
big
think the
here.
fact that BJCC is being redone helps. We're getting some
getting
regionals
closer.
back in the
Yeah.
NCAA. We're getting some basketball games back in there.
Where do you
Have you
think
been to
Mac
the new
Jones is
stadium?
going to go in the draft?
Huh?
Have you been to the new stadium?
I have been. It's looking fantastic.
Where's Mac Jones going to go in the draft?
Mac Jones is probably going to go third or fourth in the draft.
Do you know Najee Harris is from California?
I do.
Okay.
I know by watching ESPN that players are. He could go as high as third, and then he'll go 27th. They don't know what the hell they're talking about because they need content. There's only so many ways you can break that. How many mock drafts do we have to have in order to figure out? Let's just watch and see what happens.
How smart do you think quarterbacks are?
I think for the most part, they're very, very smart.
Do you think you could do that? Like, forget the physical skill part. I was watching this the other day.
Absolutely not.
I
That's why
can't-
Peyton Manning wasn't the best physically, but he was one of the best quarterbacks we ever had because he was super
Tom
smart.
Brady also. Tom Brady, as far as athletic
smart.
ability.
I'll take a smart guy, but you say that Greg McElroy didn't make it, and he was probably the smartest. They said he'll own the Dallas Cowboys before he'll play for the Dallas Cowboys.
So what do you think it is? I watched
but then I like really dumb big guys too.
What?
I like really big dumb guys too.
Well, can you be too smart to be a quarterback? You have to be smart, but can you be too smart?
I don't think you can be too smart.
You can or can't?
I cannot. Yeah.
No, I mean that's the thing. You know, I was thinking about this, and I was watching. They do the Kurt Herb Street. You know, runs them through in the slow motion. What are you seeing here?
Yeah.
And I know I'm not a huge football guy, but the amount of memorization and that forget what he's got to do on the field. The amount of memorization. Okay, we got this over here, the slot over here. I'm going to look. And I was looking at it, and I was thinking about some of the stuff that I know, some of the stuff that I've had to study. Sometimes I'm like, I couldn't do that if my life depended on it. Forget whether I was even playing.
Well, it's also because they've been doing it since they've been 5 years old too. Yeah, I think a lot of it plays into coaches. Coaches got to teach those guys.
But do you think it's an intellect? Do you think it's an?
I don't think dumb guys. We know that by the Wonderlic thing.
Wonderlic's not that predictive.
You look at a lot of guys like
the
Vince
bottom
Young.
end of
Vince
it.
Young got like 6 on a Wonderlic. Or where's he at right now? And
Right.
you look at really dumb guys, but really smart guys play really, really well in the National Football League.
What's the other position? Do you think that is
Tight end.
tight end?
Yep.
You got to be super
They
smart.
got to do everything.
I think center. I think the center, the guy that hikes the ball.
I mean, for the most part, the center's calling the defense that in a lot of cases, so
Yeah.
that's important. But he's got one job, he's got a role. But a tight end does multiple things. He catches, he blocks.
True.
He does it all.
Okay, so quarterback.
And we're seeing a big influx in great tight ends in this league. They're getting to be some of the highest paid.
I think linebackers.
quarterback versus like point guard in basketball at pro.
I don't think you can compare the two, to be honest.
No,
with you.
from just having to understand what's going on around you.
Well,
the game, the plays.
you got 5 people compared to an that you're managing.
22.
Yeah, but just the
22.
plays and the roll offs and all that kind of stuff. Screens.
Well, in basketball, you can freestyle a little bit easier. You can isolate and drive the ball to the goal by yourself if you're not seeing anything open.
Yeah, and in basketball, you throw the ball and it may be turned over, but for the most part, it's not going to be. In football, you throw the ball, it's going somewhere. It's over. The play's over.
We're better athletes.
Between football and basketball,
Mm-hmm.
We are stretching here.
I think that football players
going
are
soccer.
better. I think they would be better basketball players than basketball players would be football players.
Okay.
Because of the physicality of football.
Percentage of homosexuals in each NBA versus NFL.
I would say
percentage, not number.
I would say there's more gay football players than basketball players.
Why?
Because I think there's more gay white men than black men.
Gonna have to look that one up.
You talking about openly gay?
Yeah,
No, just gay.
just forget whether out or not.
There's a lot more gay soccer players than any sport.
Openly.
No, just gay. Period.
How do you know?
I don't. I'm just saying. You asked me a question.
What
my
about
opinion.
baseball? Anyone gay?
No, there's no gay people in
No.
baseball.
Race car drivers?
Bryce Harper. We know there's some gay
Yeah.
race car drivers. By the way, how did our Arabian woman do this past week?
Oh, I don't know. Let me
Did
look
she
it up.
did she run at Talladega?
Yeah.
I didn't
What was
see
her
anything
name?
about her, Tony.
Just pull up
Tony?
Arabian woman.
Her name's Tony. What's her name? Tony? Allie?
Yeah, her name's Tony. Yeah.
Tony.
Tony, Arabian woman. Pull that up. I don't know. I think she raced in the ARCA race. That may have been the one that was cut short on Saturday. There is one. There's two drivers that I could certainly make an argument that I think are gay in
Who?
NASCAR Sunday. I can't really say. Jeff Gordon. People make a joke about that. I don't think he's gay. There was one that
you know.
Yeah.
Really, that's a good. You need to write a book.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd feel because I know him well enough that I wouldn't want to call him out.
So
he could, when he's ready to come out, I will certainly say I knew that. And he's married. He's got kids.
And he confided in you. I mean, you.
Well, the fact that he slept with me, yeah.
No. So, but is you speculating, or he really?
I'm speculating just based on his mannerisms and some of the things he's said to me in the past about other drivers.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
It
interesting.
would have been really cool, by the way. Bubba Wallace was leading yesterday, a couple laps.
Yeah,
cool.
I know.
So, how'd she do? We find out.
What's her name? Tony.
TUNI.
Looking.
And she's an Arab American, not Arab.
But put Arab
She
driver.
wasn't in the top 40,
Okay. Well,
so it doesn't matter.
But just pull up her picture.
She got behind the wheel. That's all that's important.
Let's get a start somewhere. Isn't she a rookie? A relative rookie?
I believe so.
Okay.
Tony with an I.
Yes.